With growth slipping below the 7% mark in 2015, China's deceleration is likely to remain a big focus in 2016. Here's what leaders told us from Davos.
The mainland is the second worldwide economy, and if you look in PPP, it's probably the first one. So everything happening here is concerning the whole world. Mainland has declared to go into a transition. It goes into that transition, and it's for every of our company to look at the consequences and reposition in function of those new priorities.
We look at the growth economies as obviously going through a difficult patch, obviously dominated by China and to some extent Brazil. But we take a long-term view. We're there for the long term, and we are very committed to those countries. And we think, my personal view is in China, they're going to have a difficult 2 or 3 years, but I think the underlying strength is there.
Certainly in the context of the BRICS and the next 11, China is incredibly important. This year, actually, the delta on China, whatever it grows at, whether it's 2, 4, 6, whatever, will probably be the biggest in the world economy.
Chinese stock market has nothing to do with the Chinese economy. Chinese economy is the Chinese economy, and it's evolving, it's restructuring, it's actually becoming much more of a service economy. We've been hearing about that in the last 24 hours. That's all good news going forward.
The IMF in Lima in October last year projected 6.8% growth. China said they could do slightly better. They came in at 6.9% for 2015. I mean, by international standards, that is still very strong growth. I mean, we understand what China is trying to achieve. They're going through a transition, which was always going to be difficult along the way. Of course, the Australian-China free trade agreement is very much trying to take advantage of those opportunities of increased domestic consumption, increased reliance on services growth by pursuing exports into those areas beyond resources, in particular when it comes to agriculture and services.
Well, the many years of great growth are stalling now, but it doesn't change the picture that China is a huge market with a huge population and still many unmet needs. So I get inspired by the fact that 1.2 billion people have healthcare needs. And even though investments today have slowed down, that's a temporary matter. So we stay very focused on China. We will collaborate with the governments and with customers in order to develop the market. I think near term we need to be very cautious and probably tighten the belt and be accepting that growth is at a lower pace.